Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Earley Show. So I'm just getting back in it. I'm just getting back from work. One thing I've learned from work, bro, stand up for yourself. You have values you need to have rules of how people treat you. And if they cross that line or they break that rule, you let them know. Or else they're going to push you around and push you around. My boss was kind of an asshole. And he said something to me in front of customers. Later that night, I'm like, you don't talk to me like that. And it felt a little empowering. Like, I just think you need that in all aspects of your life. Like, okay, Ren, that was just something on my mind. Welcome to the Earley Show. Today, we have a good episode. It's the first one in a while, which I'm a little mad about, but life happens, you know. So, let's get into fitness a little bit first. I was at 207. I was doing my cardio day frequently, if not daily. Eating right, consistent on all aspects. So I dropped down to 207, visible abs. I was looking sweet. And a week later, or a week and a half later, I'm back at 217. And pardon me, I got an app, Milanote, which I'm using just to organize myself. So if you see me looking down, looking up, that's why. Shit's been wild. I was at 207, now I'm at 217 again, and that's just no cardio. Getting a little lackadaisical on what I'm putting in my body. So once school starts, I'm in the same place. I have a set-ish schedule. I'll be able to kind of get back into a routine with my systems in place, my kitchen, my food, yada, 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 you know. Yeah, so today's episode, we're talking about kind of my routine, smoking, and it's going to be okay. Because whatever you're going through, it's going to be cool, man. You're going to be okay. So first, I want to talk about my routine. I recently have been bobbling around what I'm doing in the gym, how my rep scheme, my goals, what I'm looking to get out of the gym. And I've finally kind of honed in on what I'm looking for, what I'm trying to do, and how it's going to look like. So, there's kind of three things that I want to focus on. First, the aesthetic part, looking good, feeling good, the literal visual aspect, 20-inch pythons. Second, numbers. There are some number goals I want to hit. Yeah, I like to bodybuild, but I also want to get strong. Excuse me. Third, mobility. I have had knee pain. So I used to play college basketball, and when I was playing in college, I had no knee pain. Because I was jumping so much, I was taking care of my knee. Like sometimes it came, but not nearly as frequent as it does now. So mobility, and I went to a gym, and he said it's because I have bad ankles and bad hips. And my hips fucking suck, man. They suck. So I'm just going to retouch on all of those. I got my strength training, my bodybuilding, and my mobility. So the other day, I watched this video from Russwole. Some of y'all may know. He, the Get Better brand guy. And I had a training session with my boy Chase, his friend's brother Jay at Forever Strong here in Eugene. And they both had similar builds to the workout. The first one, what Jay and Russ did, they start with heavy lifts. So let's say it's a push day. On my push day, I'm going to start with singles or only three reps per set. So really going heavy, small amount of reps, and that's for the first primary lift. In my case, the lifts, it would be front squat, back squat, bench, squat, deadlift, and overhead press. I think those are my five, I'm going to call them core lifts that I'll focus on. for the heavy section of my lift. So first 30 minutes, however long that takes, whether I'm doing singles, whether I'm doing 3 reps per set, will be my first chunk of my lift. Well, before my lifting heavy and my strength chunk, I'm going to do my mobility. That'd be mobility, if not mobility, at a separate section with cardio. Let's say I get up at 5:30 cardio, get my mobility in. But I want to keep my mobility to 15-20 minutes tops so it can be consistent. Because if I start doing an hour of mobility a day, it's not going to last. But if I get 15 minutes, it's going to compound. So that's my goal. Let's just say hypothetically 15 minutes of mobility. Then I'm going to do a good 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes, depending on what I'm doing, of lifting heavy shit. And then I'm going to get into the bodybuilding part of my workout. And this is going to be really high rep range. So on this, I'm referring to Mike Israel. He works for the RP Resistance Program Strength. I saw him at a show in Pittsburgh, which is pretty cool. At a bodybuilding show in Pittsburgh, which is pretty cool. Man. And his whole selling point of what he pushes as a bodybuilder is really high reps in your sets. So let's say I'm doing it on bench, a really slow eccentric. So in my head, I count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and then at the bottom, 3 Mississippi explode. And so by doing this, dude, that is so much fucking harder than if I have 225 when I'm just pumping them out compared to 225. Dude, 2 different lifts, man. 2 different lifts. So the other day I was doing shoulder press with, so I've gotten 80s with shoulder press for like 8 or something like that, right? The other day I dropped down to 40s to come here. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Really get low, range of motion, hold. Holy shit. You think you're strong? Do that for a session, man. That will humble the fuck out of you. So fast. It will humble you so fast. Great workout, insane pump. So, I got a little too excited there. So that's my second: mobility, strength, and then I'll attach one of his videos. So if you want to look at what he preaches and what he talks about, you can check it out. So I'm going 10 to 20 reps in those sets. When I mean you use half the weight, it is so humbling. It takes the ego, throws it right out the fucking door. Well, it's still ego, just a different type of ego. Form ego, not strength ego. Whatever. So yeah, so that's kind of my breakdown of my workout. Let me throw it to you. 15 minutes, mobility. And then cardio will be a separate session. I don't like to have cardio and lifting together because if I do cardio first, then my lift is shit. If I do cardio after, I won't do cardio after. That's after the lift. I'm like, yeah, fuck that. I'm going home. So I like to have that just a separate session. So 15 seconds, 15 minutes. I'll mobility, 30-ish, whatever. That the core lifts, I will do heavy sets, heavy reps, heavier weight, say 30 minutes, and then the rest of my workout will be more bodybuilding focused, the slow eccentric, pause, pop, and hopefully get some shoulders, because every time I look in the mirror, I look at my shoulders, and I'm like, Jesus, do I even lift? Have I stepped foot in a gym? Don't need to go down that rabbit hole. Alright, so that's kind of my routine of what I'm going to be trying to do going forward once school gets started and once I get in the motion. So, third, I apologize about the yawns. It's 11:05 on a Friday, so that's life. Whatever. What the fuck, right? All right. So last, made me feel guilty. Smoking. And this is specifically cigarettes. I plan on doing a nicotine one and what that does for your body later. So we've always been told smoking is bad for us. Like growing up, I remember when I was little, whenever people would smoke, I would walk by and just over exaggerate the cough just to piss these motherfuckers off. Now look at me. I'm the dude smoking. So we've always been told smoking is bad, and I've always been like, yeah, it's like smoking is bad. It makes you feel bad. It makes your skin. But I've never really known why. So I did a little bit of research, and I won't say an expert in any means, but I did a little bit of research, and I really got into it a little bit. So I have in my notes, this data has made me feel guilty every time I put it in my mouth. Pause. Cigarette. So the question I have, what does smoking really do to your muscle growth? And I'm just looking at this from a bodybuilding perspective or a strength perspective per se. Because that's the Earley Show, man. That's the Earley Show. So, according to Earley, a Danish study found that, okay, so they had two groups. They had one group smokers, one group non-smokers. The smokers smoked 20 packs a day. A pack a day, and the non-smokers didn't smoke at all. So, what this Danish study found, the smokers produced more of a gene called myostatin. Myostatin, a protein that in humans is encoded by the MST gene, acts on muscle cells to inhibit muscle growth. So I don't know why it inhibits muscle growth, but it's a gene that when you smoke, more of it is created, which denies your muscles to grow. So I'm going to attach a picture of a bull that has its myostatin genetically modified, means that it doesn't produce myostatin. I don't know if it doesn't produce it at all, but very minuscule amount. So hopefully the photo will be somewhere on the screen. So essentially, when you're smoking, you're killing your gains. You're killing your gains. All that time in the gym you just spent, and this is like as much as to you watching, this is to me. All that time you spent in the gym after you have a couple of cigarettes, bro. Fuck the gym. You just pissed it away smoking. I think it's tobacco. I mean, cigarettes are tobacco. Smoking cigarettes. 20-inch pythons? Cigarettes. 20-inch pythons? Cigarettes. It's really it really puts it in perspective, for me at least, like, what do you really care about? Are you really going to continue this habit? And yet again, I'm not a frequent smoker at the moment. But I've been working on a construction crew, and I've been working in a restaurant. There's nicotine in restaurants, and I best believe it, these motherfuckers on paving these roads, they always have a cigarette in their mouth. So, I will not say I am a frequent smoker, but I will not say I have not smoked a couple cigarettes lately. So, which is contradictory of what I want to do with my body. Like, the reason that my arms aren't as big or my shoulders are small could be because of the cigarettes I've consumed. So just closing up the smoking section. Smokers produce more myostatin, a gene that acts on muscle cells to inhibit muscle growth. So it creates more myostatin, which condenses muscle growth, which slows it down. Yeah. I really got this cool app, it's an app. It's called Milanote, and it kind of gives me a layout. So like the past couple weeks, since I put my last episode, I've been getting in my head, and I've recorded it like 80 times, but I've always been all over the place. I'll make it 8 minutes in, and then I'll just say, fuck it, and just lay down and be like, what am I doing? But this, I highly recommend it. It really just, I want to talk about this. These are my points. Really cool. Definitely recommend it. So, my conclusion. First of all, thanks for tuning in to the Earley Show. If you made it this far, like, trust me, like, from here, it means the most. Thank you. Subscribe, like, comment. Doesn't really matter. You're probably like, Cole, is that a drink in front of you? Yeah, it is. It's Miami. Bucked up energy. 300 milligrams of caffeine. 0 calories. 0 sugar. 0 fat. And let me tell you, this is one of the best energy drinks in the game. Perfect level of carbonation. Ooh, flavor, Miami, fire. If you need to get through, and there's no beta-alanine, the ingredient that makes your skin, I want to say tingle, I call them the ants, when you get the ants. So I definitely recommend it. And it's just a cool-ass logo. Like, bucked up, like that's just, I think the marketing is great. But definitely check it out. Thanks for tuning in to the Earley Show. If you made it this far, yo. Alright, y'all. Until the next one, hopefully that will be Monday, and we'll get to it. This was a longer episode. Alright, y'all.